was a caravan trader. He spent years having discussions with various people he met, and he had a tendency to believe what people told him. Even much later, long after he started preaching Islam, he was known as the ear. It's in the Quran, Surah 9, verse 61. And among them are those who torment the Prophet and say he is an ear. What did they mean when they called him an ear? Ibn Ishaq gives the historical background. I have heard that it was of him, a man named Nabtal, that the apostle said, "Whoever wants to see Satan, let him take a look at Nabtal ibn al-Harith. He was a sturdy black man with long flowing hair, inflamed eyes, and dark ruddy cheeks." Pretty racist to say this black man looked like Satan. He used to come and talk to the apostle and listen to him and then carry what he had said to the hypocrites. It was he who said, "Muhammad is all ears. If anyone tells him anything, he believes it." And we have some commentary in the Study Quran. He is an ear is an idiomatic expression used as an insult to imply that the prophet was easily swayed by what he heard and had no resolve. Being called an ear, Al-Razi explains, is like calling a spy an eye. The accusation was that the prophet was gullible, accepting whatever he heard. According to some, there were those around the prophet who said, "We say what we wish, then we swear to him, and he believes us." So, Muhammad was known for being gullible and believing whatever people told him. This explains why he spread so many silly claims.
Okay, so I just want to comment on this part of the video because it's a pretty simple way to refute it. Now, this whole stupid video is about the Zutt Hadith found in Musnad Ahmad, and that Hadith is weak, according to the Hadith scholar Anot. So that Hadith can't be used as evidence because it's a weak Hadith anyways, because Musnad Ahmad does have a lot of weak Hadith in them, or Hadith that aren't authentic, and this is not an authentic Hadith. I looked it up, so this this Hadith can't be used. The second problem is that David Wood, you see, David Wood is the most gullible Christian apologist I've ever met. Like whatever anybody tells him about Islam, he believes it. Like, this man just doesn't know how to do research. He doesn't know how to do, like, he doesn't do any kind of research. He doesn't read anything. He doesn't know how to, like, spot false hadith or use authentic hadith, or spot hadith that are inauthentic, etc. So he'll whatever you tell David Wood, he'll believe it about Islam. Like, whatever these Arab Christians tell him, he believes it without doing any kind of fact checking, without checking the facts. But anyways, David Wood, now he commits something called a genetic fallacy. What is that? Genetic fallacy is attacking the source of the claim instead of the claim itself. And, these are just the disbelievers that are accusing the Prophet Muhammad of being gullible. So, well, let's go to the Ibn Ishaq story. That Ibn Ishaq story is false. That Ibn Ishaq story is false because, again, like I said, I don't know, hundreds of times on my channel, Ibn Ishaq is not a reliable source of information about the Prophet Muhammad. It's a weak source to begin with. So that story found in Ibn Ishaq is not a reliable story anyways, because there's no authentic, there's no, authentic, or there's no reliable sources for that story or that sayings, or for that story in Ibn Ishaq, so it can't be used. But anyways, the disbelievers accuse the Prophet Muhammad of being gullible and believing whatever he hears, and this is the genetic fallacy, right? This is a fallacy that they're committing, or this is the fallacy of circumstantial ad hominem. The fallacy of circumstantial ad hominem is saying this person has motive, therefore I can't trust what he says. So these are fallacies David Wood is committing. But this is kind of pathetic that David Wood doesn't know how to do logic and reasoning, and just believes anything he reads about Islam or the Prophet Muhammad without any kind of fact checking. He just believes whatever he reads about, or what he believes, whatever hadith or whatever story fits whatever David Wood's agenda is. So he doesn't do any kind of fact checking. Well, that's Christians, you know. When it comes to Islam, they don't fact check anything because their whole New Testament is filled with their whole New Testament is anonymous and of unknown sources. So this is how they operate. They just don't do any kind of fact checking. They don't really do any kind of checks when they're citing hadith, or they don't know what they're quoting is authentic or not authentic according to Islamic standards. So this whole video is just a waste of time because that hadith is already been that hadith about al-Zutt is false. It's a weak hadith. It's a false hadith, and it can't be used as evidence. So I mean, David Wood knows this, but he's going to keep peddling that hadith, or he's going to keep spreading that hadith on YouTube because David Wood has nothing better to do other than hanging out with his boyfriend Apus and making these hate mongering or these critical videos of the Prophet Muhammad and Islam. So stay tuned, more videos coming up ahead. That hadith is not authentic. That Musnad Ahmad hadith is not authentic. I looked into it, and according to the hadith scholar, no, it's not authentic, so it can't be used as evidence. The rest of this video is a waste of time because he's already refuting these already refuted arguments. The next video I'm going to make is that 90-foot tall hadith about Adam. I'm going to prove from the Bible itself that Adam was a giant, so it's not a tall tale that the Prophet Muhammad was spreading. So stay tuned for that. So, yeah.